Well, an entity came from this portal, and like it sat at the table.
Her name is Dr. Astrid Stuckelberger, and she's talking about the work being done at CERN. She's a scientist, researcher, and public health expert who has worked closely with governments and international organizations for over 20 years. She's credentialed, respected, and has access to circles most of us will never enter. But in 2016, at a dinner in Portugal, she found herself seated next to two physicists from CERN. What they told her that night would change everything she thought she knew about reality. Officially, CERN's mission is to study the fundamental structure of the universe, to smash particles together at near light speed and observe what happens. In 2012, they announced the discovery of the so-called God particle, a triumph of modern physics. Nobel Prizes were awarded, the world celebrated. But since then, silence. Billions more spent. The collider runs continuously, and we hear almost nothing about what they're actually doing. There's occasional vague statements about exploring extra dimensions, mentions of portal experiments and dark matter research, cryptic references to opening doors and unknown unknowns. And then there are the symbols. The statue of Shiva, the Hindu god of destruction, prominently displayed at CERN headquarters, the strange rituals and ceremonies, the occult imagery that seems woven into the facility's very identity. What are they really doing down there? What have they found? And why does the largest scientific experiment in human history feel like it's shrouded in mystery? Dr. Stuckelberger wanted answers, and in 2016, she got more than she bargained for. During this time, she was in Portugal attending a dinner hosted by a colleague. She's seated at a table with two physicists, one from CERN in Geneva, one from CERN in Portugal.
And I sat at their table, and I was like so happy not to be in a boring table.
She decides to ask them the questions that have been nagging at her. Her first question is simple. How many dimensions are you working with at CERN?
I said, so how many dimensions officially are living in the CERN? And they both said 17, very affirmatively.
When she asks for documentation for proof, they tell her they don't have any. They just know it's 17. They work there, but they can't prove it. But then she presses further. She wants to know if anything has ever come through from another dimension, if they have any evidence, any proof.
And they said, well, yes, there is something. And then they started talking about the CERN portal. There's a portal for the LHC. There's a door, open, a round door, you know, like in the Stargate. So in front of the door, they have a room. They probably have many doors, but they have a room, and they sit around the table. And I said, so yeah, what happened? He said, well, an entity came from this portal, and like it sat at the table.
She asks what it looked like. Was it human? Was it alien? What color was it? They can't answer. They don't know. The information is secondhand and they can't describe it. But there's one detail they can confirm. One piece of physical evidence.
And they said this entity the second time took a scarf and left a scarf. I said, what type of scarf? And they don't know. They're not into the detail. They were really into the event and not the detail. And this entity left again.
After that dinner, Dr. Stuckelberger began investigating. She started looking into CERN's official statements, their research agenda, their public announcements. And she found something disturbing. In 2024, CERN announced they would be restarting the Large Hadron Collider on April 8th, the date of a major solar eclipse.
Top scientists at the Large Hadron Collider, LHC, says that the Titanic machine may possibly create or discover on 8th of April for the eclipse previously unimagined scientific phenomenon or unknown unknowns. For instance, an extra dimension.
The former director of research at CERN, Sergio Bertolucci, made a statement.
Who says, out of this door might come something, or we might send something through it. But that even with the power of the LHC at his disposal, he would only be able to hold it open a very tiny lapse of time, 10 to 26 seconds, but during that infinitesimal amount of time, we would be able to peer into this open door either by getting something out of it or sending something into it.
10 to the minus 26 seconds. An incomprehensibly brief moment. But Bertolucci says that's enough time to peer into the open door, to get something out, or send something in. And then he adds, of course there would be no risk to the stability of our world. No risk, they promise. And now CERN wants to expand. They want to build a 91-kilometer ring, almost 4 times larger than what they have now.